Being competent doesn't make you respected. It makes you invisible. If you're quiet and capable, this explains why effort stopped working. Competent men like me and you assume results speak for themselves. And honestly, it sucks to say, but it doesn't. I remember myself growing up in the Marine Corps. I've always been a hard worker. I've always been the one to take up and get the job done, but didn't really broadcast everything that I did. When it came down to things I wanted to do, the person who speaks the loudest, the more extroverted guy who got to know everyone else and broadcasts their achievement to others, or spoke a little bit more, or maybe show a little more signal to others of what they did, those are the ones who got selected over me, who worked hard but I didn't broadcast as much. And later down the years is when I realized that visibility is different from execution. Sometimes you just need to speak up for yourself and what you do a lot more than you normally would. Also, most people don't notice work, they notice signals. Who is the person who gets referenced a lot by others? Who seems certain? Who seems important? Who is the person who knows the best about this certain task or job? I want to break down some practical steps that you can take now to help you increase the amount of signal you show to others. That first one is name outcomes and not effort. Meaning that stop describing what you did and describe what changed. There's a good and a bad to this. The bad example is if you say something along the lines of, I did this work. A good part of that is I reduced errors by 20%. People track change and not labor. That second one is speak at the right moment. Introverted men wait until they're certain, but at that moment, most oftentimes than not, the room has been moved on. Here's some signal moments that you can use, that you can learn, or you can pay attention to when it would be best to say the right thing at the right time. During the beginning of a meeting, during the end of a meeting, when the result is delivered, or right after a decision has been made. One sentence is enough. For example, once a meeting has ended, you will say, before we move on, here's what this decision unlocked, or here's what we talked about. Say the things that you talked about and then say, do we all agree? Try to take ownership of the whole thing and then get others to become part of the process to help you become the overall subject matter expert in that particular thing, or the person people reference as the leader in a certain conversation topic. That fourth one is to ask framing questions. Questions, what do I mean by that? Questions that frame authority or frame problems that could potentially happen signal authority more and faster than statements. What do I mean? If we're working a task, you will say something, well, a bunch of things along the lines of, what does success looks like? What would this look like if it breaks? Who owns the outcome of this overall project? If A happens, then what will B do? And then after B happens, what will C do? And go down the line and the line and the line after that. By doing those, framing the problem and thinking ahead as to what would happen after the fact, and probably thinking of doing things in a standardized way, which means a way that everyone understands that can be changed, then you'll be seen as a person who always thinks ahead. That fifth one is let others repeat after you. This is just high status behavior altogether. All you would do is just plant a thought or an idea early and then have others repeat you later. After someone repeats your idea, simply nod your head and say exactly. That sixth one, reduce mystery, not humility. Silence without context reads as absence. What do I mean by that? You don't need to explain everything in order to make your value more legible. What you need to do is know that one sentence speak perfect word that nobody sees. But here's something you don't need to do to kind of get your point across. Don't over-explain. Don't justify. Don't narrate your process. Don't apologize for speaking. This is simply because signals themselves are short by design. It's a display of your actions, whether verbally or physically, that you can show others that you got the job done. That is your advantage as someone who doesn't speak much. Those suggestions I gave you above are something you can do now to take charge and push towards others to allow your signal to broadcast higher. Because simply put simply, you already do the hard part. You already do the work. You just don't label it. But once you label it with the signals I gave you above, people will assume that you're competent, that you have authority, that you're reliable, because now they can see you and what you did. Know that there's a difference between humility, which you think that you're practicing, and self-erasure. What's the difference between the two? Humility means that you're focusing on not centering yourself on a problem or a topic. Self-erasure is removing yourself completely to the point that no one knows that you're there. And that's exactly what you're doing right now. Remember this: authority isn't loud, it's legible. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe if you think clearly and move quietly.
Let's be honest. Being the absolute best at your job is the reason why you're stuck. In this video, I'm going to break down some of the reasons why you're stuck, why your hard work makes you even more stuck, and how to get rewarded from the hard work that you do. I'm also going to teach you the strategic shifts you need to make to break free and get the visibility that you deserve and get the leadership role that you earned. Let's get to it. So you did everything right. You learned the skills. You became the most reliable person on that team. When there's a problem at work, you're the person they call. When there's a fire in a project, you're the person they call to put it out. You became the office hero. You're the unsung hero that they all talk about the most. And that right there is the problem. This is what I call the indispensable employee paradox. The very reliability that makes you invaluable in your current role is precisely why you're unpromotable. To give yourself as a critical load-bearing wall in the building. You're so important to the way that things are right now that management just can't promote you because you're so valuable in that position. And if they do promote you, that create kind of like a massive self-inflicting headache. Your manager looks at you and think, if I promote them, who's going to do all this work? Maybe if I do promote them, I'll have to hire two and train two more. That'll make my life so much harder. So instead, they keep you in that position. And then you turn kind of to a competence paradox where it isn't just a real feeling. The feeling is dynamic. Promotions, especially leadership, aren't just about competence anymore. They're about perception. The game shifts from can you do the job to do you look like a leader? Hard work does the job. Visibility gets promotion. And if you're the guy with your head down doing all the work, clearing a mountain of tasks, you are by definition not visible. You're in the engine room and not on the bridge. And those who get promoted are on the bridge. This trap is held together by a couple of powerful myths that all hype achievers believe in. Let's tear them down, because by believing in them, that will keep you stuck in that same cage. Myth 1, if I work harder, they'll notice me. The most dangerous lie of all. The reward for good work is almost always more work than performance punishment in a way, in its purest form. Every time you successfully handle something of your current workload, your leaders will see that you can handle more and pile more on top of you, which means that they don't see a future leader. They see a workhorse. They see a very different person than who you see yourself. You stay late. You answer those emails. You push yourself to the brink of fatigue, and it just doesn't do anything for you. Myth 2 is being busy is the same as being valuable. Our culture worships the hustle, the person juggling a couple of different tasks and a bunch of things. And what we call multitasking is a myth because it kills your effectiveness. Research shows that constantly switching between tasks, or otherwise known as context switching, can slash your productivity by as much as 4%. What you think of multitasking is just simply a rapid, inefficient task switching. It drains your mental battery and it makes it impossible for you to keep focus on one strategic deep work task, which is the hallmark of being a leader. The person who is always putting out fires is seen as a great firefighter. But here's the thing, firefighters don't get promoted compared to architects. Architects are the ones who design the building, so that doesn't happen in the first place. Your constant busyness signals to the leadership team that you're a tactical doer and not a strategic thinker. Leaders aren't frantic, they're focused. They create leverage and they don't push the lever over and over again. Myth number 3, my good work will speak for itself. This is a lie, another lie that is false for any corporate environment and dare I say any environment in general. Your work doesn't have a voice. You have to be the voice of your work. Executives operate on a out of sight, out of mind basis. If they don't see a contribution or understand its impact, then you might as well not exist in their mind. Meanwhile, your peers, your competitors are in those meetings, in those briefings, often offering suggestions, inputs, recommendations, build those relationships across the department. They're making sure decision makers know who they are, also associate with their peers as well, so that they know who they are. Meanwhile, you're working here. Promotions are risk-based decisions made by people who barely know you. They will always be on the person they're more familiar with, the person who has communicated their value over the unknown worker bee, no matter how productive that bee can be. So how do you break out of this trap? You don't work harder, you work smarter. You stop playing the hero and start playing the strategist. Here's a 3-step playbook that you can use now to go from indispensable doer to a promotable leader. Step 1 is make yourself redundant. I know for some this can sound terrifying, but the best way for you to stop doing that same job you've been doing for a while and stop being chained to it is to make it a goal to build a system that can work without you. Start by documenting everything that you do. Maybe a simple how-to guide of your core tasks or SOP, something like that for what you do is good for now. And then identify a junior colleague or junior person within your workspace and start training them. Delegate to them the tasks, the lower impact, repetitive tasks that you kind of don't want to do. At first, it's going to feel like more work. Then you would think, I could do it so much faster by myself. You have to fight that impulse. Every time you delegate a task, it does 2 critical things. First, it frees up your time for higher value, more strategic work. Second, most importantly, it proves to management that you're not just a doer, you're a leader with talent, you're a multiplier. This core leadership skill, when your boss sees you train your own replacement, they no longer have an excuse to hold you back. Step 2, shift your language from output to impact. High performers talk about what they did. Leaders talk about what they achieved. This is a small change, but it's a powerful shift in the way you communicate and how you are perceived. Start reporting on your effort and start broadcasting on the results. For example, I finally finished a 50-page essay. Change that to the new sales analysis that I put together shows a 15% increase in the growth opportunity in the European market that we can jump on this quarter. Instead of saying I spent 100 customer support tickets, start saying by digging into our top 3 customer complaints, I've mapped up a new process, a new system that should cut our ticket volume by 25%. See the difference? The first one is about labor. The second one is about the business bottom line. One sounds like an employee reporting on task. The second one sounds like a leader spotting opportunities. Frame your work in a language that the business would show impact from, and you'll start sounding like you're the next one up for the next promotion. Step 3, master strategic visibility. Visibility isn't about being loud or bragging. It's about making sure the right people see the value that you're creating. Here are 2 simple tactics. First, become a master at follow-up email. After a meeting or a brief, send a follow-up email immediately, saying something along the lines of, great discussion. To recap, we came to a decision of X and Y. My team is working on Z. We plan to give a brief to everyone on XXX date. This shows that you're a person of action and a driver of action, and that you create clarity for others. And it also creates a paper trail for you to show your contribution to the overall goal or business. Second, volunteer for a high visibility, cross-functional project, even if it feels a little bit intimidating. These are the projects that will get you from leaders from other departments. Being known as a valuable contributor to departments are good. Being known as a sharp, collective colleague who also solve problems around the whole company is great. That's how you get your name on the promotion shortlist. The office hero isn't some tragic leader or tragic figure. They sacrifice their time and energy for the team, only to find themselves stuck in the same spot, doing the same work or doing more work than they originally did before. But the truth is, companies don't promote heroes. They promote leaders.
Most men think handling disrespect requires a clever comeback or raising your voice. They think loud equals strong. They're wrong. When you react to disrespect with emotion, you hand over your power. You prove that they can control your state. The most dangerous men in the room don't scream. They don't argue. They use silence as a weapon. Today, I'm going to teach you 3 psychological tactics to dismantle disrespect without saying a single word. This is how you win the interaction before it even starts. That first tactic is a 3-second void. When someone insults you or cuts you off, your instinct is to answer immediately. Don't. The reason why is because that comes from a fight or flight reaction. Let's say you're facing a situation where there's a bear and there is you going through a forest. Well, what would you do? Would you attack the bear? Would you scream at the bear? Or would you run away? That is the reaction that you're going through in that moment. Here's some tactical steps you can take now. When they finish speaking, count to 3 in your head. Do not look away. Keep your eyes on them. And now you may be asking, why does this work? Silence makes people just in general uncomfortable. I don't know the reason why. It just does. I guess most people want to just talk. They expect a fight. When you give them nothing, their brain starts to panic. They often start stuttering or backtracking to fill the silence. Some of the things you can say, or some of the things that you can think about, is you aren't really ignoring them. You're just expecting them. You're letting the disrespectful words hang in the air so everyone can smell them. Tactic number 2 is called the deadpan gaze. Most men look down or away when attacked because of social pressure. Here's 2 actions you can take now. Hold eye contact with that person, but soften your face. Do not frown and do not look angry. Look at them as if you're observing a strange bug. This is called withholding validation. Disrespect usually is a cry for attention. If you look angry, you gave them attention. If you look bored/neutral, you're saying you're not significant enough to upset me. And that 3rd tactic is the minimalist confirmation. Eventually, in a conversation or in an argument or whatever going on in that situation, you have to break the silence. But the mistake many people make is explain yourself by saying things like, no, that's not what I meant. That's weak. A solution for that is just to simply use low effort responses. For example, you can say, I see, or you're entitled to have opinion, or just okay. It works because it's dismissive. It ends the loop. You aren't agreeing with them. You're just closing the file, just ending the argument. True authority isn't about proving you're right. It's about proving you're unshakable. Next time you are tested, and you will be tested, don't take the bait. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. If you want to build this kind of discipline in every area of your life, just subscribe. And there are more videos like this that you can use to help improve your life. Thank you for listening.
Are you tired of being the most competent person in the room, but still getting ignored because your boss is the loudest? In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tactical ways that you can use to turn your introversion into your strength, helping you outmaneuver the loudest personalities and finally claim the authority that you deserve.
The first move is silence. Loud leaders absolutely hate silence. They rush to fill every void, every moment with noise to make themselves feel in control. But you're going to do the exact opposite. You're going to use silence as a tool to project authority. Here's how. First, when you're asked a question, whether in a meeting or on a one-on-one conversation, simply take a micro pause, count in your head 2, 1, 2. After you get to 2, that's when you're going to say a response. This helps you avoid from reactive rambling and forces you to give a more clear, concise answer, which in turn to the person speaking to you show that you have pure confidence in what you're saying. Second, apply a 10-minute rule to any emotionally charged email or message. For example, your boss fires off to you a reactive, accusatory email. Your first instinct is fire right back in emotional way, but hold off for 10 minutes. This allows you to give a message with a clear head and craft a response that seems calm, logical, and factual. You look composed while they look volatile. Finally, use silence to control the room itself. The next time you're leading a key meeting, especially with a dense document, open by saying, let's all take a minute to review this in silence for the next minute, and then we'll dive in. This move is incredibly powerful. It instantly shuts down any fast talkers or those who's kind of winging it within those meetings. It establishes the playing field and establishes you as a delivering, commanding presence. The advantage here is undeniable. You become known as the person who is calm under pressure because you're less reactive and more strategic. Those are the exact qualities that senior leaders and boards value the most. Your second move is to weaponize your tendency to prepare. Loud, extroverted leaders often love to kind of wing it because they use their charisma, or they try to use their charisma to carry them through. But you're going to make that totally irrelevant. What you're going to do is control the game before it even starts. Your first tactic is agenda control. For any meeting that you lead, send out a clear agenda beforehand. But you're going to take a step forward. To give you an example, you're going to send out the agenda via email saying our goal is to decide between option A and option B. The pre-read is attached. I'll be asking Sarah for a take on the customer impact and Bob for his take on the technical side first. This establishes you as a SME, a subject matter expert in this particular situation, as well as helps you establish the entire conversation for how it began, which means that you will take the power away from whoever talks the most and give it to the people with the right information. Next, use written thinking as your primary weapon. This is a famous Amazon 6-pager method. For any major decision that you make, you write a clear memo outlining the problem, the data, and different approaches in your recommendation. The meeting will start with 10 to 20 minutes beforehand of silent reading. This is your introvert, like me and you, our secret weapon. It completely neutralizes the advantage of fast talkers and shift the focus from those who has the most persuasive or charismatic personality to who's thinking the clearest. Your ideals is backed by logic, and that will dominate the room before you even say a word. Finally, for every meeting that you attend, prepare 2 or 3 anchor points. On one page, write down the single key point you must land, one compelling story, and one data point to back it up. And one simple recommendation that you think of yourself or maybe you heard of, right, from others. This is an exact technique that many introverted CEOs use now in their companies to make the most massive impact that they can. Your third move is to reframe listening entirely. Loud leaders see listening as a waste of dead space between the chances to talk. You are going to see listening as your number one tool for intelligence gathering and influence. In fact, studies show that proactive introverted leaders who listen and empower their teams consistently outperform their extroverted counterparts. Here's your first tactic called structure listening. Next time when you're leading a meeting, take the time to don't let it wander, but actually guide it. For example, you know some information hasn't been said, so you look for someone who knows that information. For example, you say, Priya, you work in this section, what do you know about it? This helps you build a team of alliances, as well as those same people who will feel seen and respected by you. You can also show deep curiosity from the team you're working around or who you have the meeting with by asking questions such as, what are we missing here? Or what's the best argument against my point or against what I'm proposing, instead of just repeating your same point over again. Your second tactic is engaged listening in one-on-ones. This is where you build the deep trust. Use short, powerful prompts to go deeper. Instead of just nodding along to what they're saying, say, tell me more about that, or what does that mean? And then refer back to what they're telling you about, saying something along the lines of, so if I'm getting this right, the core issue is the customer and XXX did XXX. Is that right? This makes people feel truly understood, and they'll start bringing you the critical information, the risk, the opportunities, and ideas long before they tell anyone else. The quiet advantage here is huge. You become the center of a powerful information network, while the loud boss is broadcasting, you're receiving. The information edge leads to more influence, better decision making, and a team that's fiercely loyal to you because they feel heard. Now, it's a good time to pause. Out of the 3 moves: strategic stillness, owning the preparation, and power listening, which one feels more natural to you? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious kind of to see where most of you would land at. The 4th move is about building trust and authority without having to constantly brag about yourself. Quiet leaders can build trust incredibly fast by making and operating principles crystal clear one time, and then executing with ruthless consistency. The best example of this comes from Doug Conant, the former CEO of Campbell's Soup. He took over a struggling company. He then created a 1-page document for his team that explained his values, expectations, and how he planned to run things. He then walked each leader through it personally and then said, if I behave consistently with this, you can trust me. If I don't, you can't, but at least you know. You can do the same exact thing. Create a simple 1-page memo called How I Work, My Operating Principles. In it, define your values, like we prize directness over polite vagueness, or no surprises. Outline how you make decisions, what data you need, and how you want conflicts handled. Then, walk your key stakeholders and your team members through it one-on-one. This isn't a lecture, it's a conversation. Ask them, is there anything that concerns you? Does any of this make your job harder? This single act of asking for feedback builds immediate buy-in. After that, your job is complete. Be ruthlessly consistent. When your words and your actions always align, you become a high-trust, predictable leader. Your team knows exactly what to expect, which builds a profound sense of psychological safety and stability. Your quiet advantage is that you front-load all the work building your brand. You establish clarity and authority in a single focused action. After that, your consistency does the talking for you. The final move is called selective loudness. The most effective quiet leaders aren't quiet all the time. Instead, they deliberately, intensely, and unmistakably become vocal on the tiny set of issues that really matter, while staying quiet on everything else. First, choose 1 to 3 hills that you're willing to die on. These should be tied to your core values or strategic non-negotiables. Maybe it's product quality, ethical conduct, or one specific strategic bet that you believe in above all else. These are your selective loud topics. When one of these topics come up, your energy has to shift. You speak early. You lean forward. You use clear, unambiguous language. You say things like, this is a line we will not cross, or we will continue to invest here, no matter what. This isn't about yelling, it's about intensity and clarity. You're signaling that on this issue right here, there's no room for debate. Then, on everything else, you take a step back. On secondary topics, let others take the lead. Go back to being a listener and a synthesizer. You consider your introverted energy for the 5-star mission critical. This creates a powerful contrast effect. Your team and your bosses quickly learn that 95% of the time you're calm and reflective. But when your intensity rises, it means something. It signals to them and everyone else that this isn't just another issue. Your voice, because it's used deliberately, carries 10 times the weight compared to the boss who's loud about everything. The quiet advantage here is that you maximize your impact while also saving your energy. You don't need to become an extrovert. You need to be strategically loud when it matters the most. Let's take a moment to recap. Loud wins the moment. Quiet wins the long game. You don't need to be going all out shouting your boss. What you do need to do though is outthink, out-repair, and outlast them. If you found this playbook helpful, you're going to love my video about stop working hard because it's a trap. Click the link on the screen to watch that now. Even though you're introverted, many people want to be that go-to guy or woman, that person that everyone looks up to, that person who knows everything, and that person who knows all the answers to every question that ever comes up. If that's you, then listen to this video because I'm going to give you some things that I use in my time, in my career, in order to help me become a more valuable member of my team. The first one is think of the business long term. It's 5 ways of doing this portion. The first one is to develop a clear vision. What does that mean? Now, for the business, meaning that the more money you can make a business, the more money that you can earn yourself. Because if you can help a business make maybe 20K, 30K more a year, then that'll be more money for you to kind of gain a more competitive edge to get your promotions. If you help a company save about probably the same amount, 20 to 30K a year, that gives you a more competitive edge of what you want from that company, which is why you need to develop that clear vision of where you want the company to go and where you see yourself within that company. Because if you're just there without purpose, without meaning, that's good and all, but it won't really fuel you for anything greater if you do get the opportunity. That second one is to build those systems. What do I mean by that? Meaning build stuff that you believe can help you make the process easier. Whether that means you, because think of a process, you going over a sales script every single day and then going over the sales call, prepping yourself up. It's this quote that goes, people would think you're more intelligent by doing just 10 minutes of prep work. What does that mean? If you're in sales, then that would just mean you taking maybe 10 to 20 minutes, prepare yourself to get to know your client, who you're going to be on the phone call with. See and keep finding them on Facebook, who their favorite football team is, their parents, or maybe just their wife, and just use it as like a conversation topic. Or you can get more about business if you need to by figuring out more about that business before you hop on the call. So that when you get on a call, you don't seem less intelligent, you don't seem less dumb. Another way you can apply this is if you're in the system and you already have your rules set up for how you do your job on the computer. For example, if you send emails out all day, you can set up a rule or something of where to send emails out based on your priorities and how you want it to go through. Or if you work on systems, you can set some type of process up, like an automation process, in order to help make tasks, small, menial tasks, more faster and complete more efficiently. The next one is to develop people and relationships, meaning that you need to surround yourself with people and a relationship that you believe that will help you grow and be better and just become a more developed individual. Think about it like this, or this is how I like to think about it. Find the best person who's at your job and double what they do. Meaning that if they, not work hours, but their workflows, meaning that if they can process up to 120 boxes a day for whatever job you're doing, see, can you process twice the amount of that? What can you do to maybe work harder, work faster? What can you do to double that process or work or grind a lot more harder? You may need to stay longer. You may need to work harder, but that's the price you need to pay in order to grow in the beginning. In the beginning, there's no shortcuts. There's no way to win except to go through hard work. So if you need to make those extra 200 calls, if you need to scan those extra 200 boxes for the experience, for the reps, in order to be better than a high performer, then do it. Because there's no other replacement than that. That next one is to stay adaptable and forward-looking. Meaning to embrace that change. If things change, embrace it. Go full force with it. Don't just think about how the past is. Yes, you can take stuff off of the past and just put it into the pot of the future to make it better, and so things don't change too much in order to make it some, or have it maintain some type of familiarity. But don't be too stuck in the past that you won't take over the future. Essentially, that's how some companies are going towards AI. Now, they keep some of their core processes, but in the whole scheme of things, they're adopting more AI tools in order to help them work more efficiently. That's what I recommend for you. That next one is thinking of the self versus thinking of the team. What do I mean by that? Thinking of the team deals with you focusing on your own personal goals, your growth, and your own recognition. You seek those individual achievements and rewards. Thinking of yourself can lead to isolated decision making. Now, when you think of the team, you prioritize shared objectives, collaboration, and collective success. You build trust, foster relationships, and elevate everyone's potential. You encourage diverse perspectives and stronger solutions. Now, an example of this is if you're working at your job and you're done. A simple question people may be asking at their job. Some may be coming with a entitlement mindset, as in, I wonder if I'll like them. But in a way, in order for you to become a more charismatic and a more valuable employee to your team, think of it as, how can I help them? How can you make your other coworkers' job easier? What can you do to help them go home earlier? Because people notice. Maybe it may not be noticeable at first, but goodwill compounds. Maybe it could be your boss asking your coworker who you think the best person is for the job. And your name kind of comes up because you're the go-to man. You're the person who helps everyone goes home. Maybe the regimental manager, whatever, regional manager, come to your boss and ask him who's your star employee, who's the one who helps everyone else around instead of worrying about himself or herself. They'll say your name. Goodwill compounds. The more you focus less on yourself and more on others, the easier your life will be in the end. And the more it will compound. Now, I'm not saying this will be for everyone. Every situation has its own contradictions, its own constraints. But if you try to do this, I'm sure that you'll be repaid for it. This next one is build those relationships. Start with your coworkers first, meaning that get to actually know them, but don't force the relationship. Don't be the one who's constantly talking when they tell you to shut up. You need to learn social cues if that's you. But try to get to know them, find out their hobbies, what their favorite food is, their favorite movies and games and stuff, and just try to be a good dude overall. Now, people get this confused with manipulation, but it's not. The difference between manipulation and leadership, or actually getting to know them, is just your intention of it. Just have good intentions always, because intention has a smell. Now, get to know your boss as well, meaning that don't be a fucking goody two-shooter. Don't be the person who always in your boss's butt, like for lack of a better word. Always trying to figure out what he's doing next or how can you help him out. Don't be that guy. But when the opportunity comes up, get to know him, talk to him, find out their favorite hobbies, see what can you do in order to make it better. And in order to build that trust, let me give you an example. Imagine that you're working on a project on product development and your boss constantly asks you questions and not allowing you to work. Every single step you take asks you, how can this be better? What can you do to make this better? What has he been doing? What has he been doing? What have you been doing? Now, people could see that as a intrusion on their job, but others could see it as a lack of trust because you haven't really earned your boss's trust yet. And the best way to do that, turn his trust, is to give him more information than needed. Provide him every information in every part of the step. If you have that type of boss who does that type of boss who kinds of micromanage you, this is my best way to go about doing that part. This next one is to focus on quality work and execute consistently, meaning that the small details matter in your job, so care about them. Now, that means that if you're given a task or anything that you need to accomplish, then try to do so in the best of your ability. A secret cheat code that I learned, for me, I was a senior drum shipper in the Marine Corps for recruit training at one point. And for me, my job got kind of overloaded because of the amount of admin paperwork I did. So I developed this concept called the focus inputs, meaning that out of everything going on, meaning for you, if you have to email Sam, email Bill, message your boss, get this project done, what can I do, to focus on that one project, one task at a time, and what inputs can I do to make it easier? Meaning, for focus, what does that mean? Meaning focus on one thing. You have one single focus on one thing. And how do you do that? The only way to focus, the best way, is to eliminate distractions, meaning to put your phone on do not disturb. Maybe put your blinds on, close your blinds, close your door, and just focus on that one job. Everything else, just eliminate it. Now, inputs mean that the things you can do in order to make that job go easier. Now, also, this changes your mindset from focusing on the outcome of a project to focusing on the actual process of it. So by focusing on the process of what you can do to make it go easier, you eliminate the anxiety, I want to say, from how a project is going to be towards the end or how long you have to finish, and you push that towards the present, which means you try to get it done sooner, which is now, by focusing on the process to get it done now. Now, I want to end this by saying that doing these things may not mean that you're going to be the first person to get promoted. It may not mean that you'll be seen in a favorable eye in your fellow coworker eyes, but you will be better. And 9 times out of 10, you will be seen more favorable and ready for that next promotion up if the opportunity comes. But that's all I got. Thank you for listening. Stay motivated. Have you ever been in a conversation or a meeting where you said something or did something that didn't make any sense, and then after you did it, you thought, dang, why did I do that? In this video, I'm going to give you behaviors that will help you appear more confident as an introverted man. Even I, myself, I'm not perfect, right? No one is. I find myself constantly questioning things I do, constantly asking myself again, why do I do these things? Or why did I say this thing ever since I was a young child? Because myself, I'm overly self-critical of myself for everything I do. I want to be perfect, but I know that it's never achievable. But the closest way you can get there is by constantly being better and looking back at your actions, right? And these things I'm going to tell you are things that help me kind of ease that feeling of anxiety I may have gotten from just overthinking, from over criticizing the things I did in the past. And that first one being be charismatic, right? Charismatic itself is a bucket word with many different sub-behaviors under it. That first one, for example, it was to simply have steady eye contact. Meaning, look people in the eye, don't look around. Look at them long enough to show that you're listening, but not long enough to intimidate them. For example, look at them in between the eyes, maybe for like 10 seconds and look away as if you're thinking, then look back at them again. The next one is have calm composure, meaning that your shoulders relax, your chest is open, you have a still body, and you're not fidgeting, and they have your full attention. That third one is a genuine expression. When they say something or you say something and you feel as if you need to smile, they just hit like a quick smile, like, or if they say something that makes that you feel need to smile. It's up to you to try to figure out where you need to show those micro actions or micro behaviors within your face. But if you conversate a lot, then I'm sure you'll figure it out. Next one is have that focused attention. Don't when you talk to someone, don't scan the room, don't look around, don't be on your phone. Make people feel seen by looking at them and listen to words they say. And the last one is have composed silence, meaning that you're not afraid of pauses. Sometimes you have to let that stuff sit. Say something, let it sit for a little bit, and then continue on with the rest of the conversation. That second behavior is to command stillness. Most men, maybe like yourself, tend to think that confident men tend to move more, move faster, do more actions, right? But the main thing you need to understand is that the way for you to appear more confident as an introverted male is to do less. Meaning that the less you do, the more your presence will feel more solid. Because it essentially removes that wasted motion from meaning different things, and you only move when it serves a purpose. Now, what sub-behaviors fall under commanding stillness? The first one is to punch your feet, shoulder depart, weight balance, and do not shift side to side. The second one is to keep your hand gestures slow, meaning that don't fidget around with your hands, do weird stuff like this, right? Don't do any freaking jazz hands. Just keep your hands slow, move with gestures that make sense, but don't move too much where it seems like you're just going everywhere, right? That third one is to move slow and precise. Do not use any wasted motion, right? Every motion just seems like a choice and not like a reaction to an action. And the last one is to hold your posture under pressure. When you feel someone challenges you, trying to break your stance, meaning if you see someone walk towards them as well, but try to maintain the same motion, the same way you're walking, try to walk towards them the same way, and don't change it the way you walk unless you have to. And behavior, number 3 is the best one because it's something that I believe that us as introverts, we do more of, but we sometimes don't think about. And we don't use it the best way that we can, which is speak like you mean it. Every word that you say can mean something as long as it makes sense, as long as it correlates to the topic at hand. Confident men don't just fill space. They speak like they mean it. Their words carry weight. You simply don't need to sound dominant whenever you speak. You just need to sound more certain. You just need to make sense. You need to sound clear. And the power is in how you speak, not how much you speak. Now, what behaviors make up that? The first one is to simply slow down. Myself, I speak fast naturally because my mind thinks faster than the words that come out of my mouth. So sometimes I have to kind of take a step back and say, boom, what am I doing? Let me slow it down a little bit. So I catch myself a lot whenever I start speaking fast. But when you speak, slow down a whole lot more in order to help others gain a better understanding of what you're saying, right? Fast talking itself make the words seem like they're indispensable, meaning that they don't really matter. The people who's listening can just kind of throw those words away. Slower pacing makes the words you say carry more weight, makes it make more sense. The next one is drop your tone. And almost every sentence lower. And trying to raise your voice towards the end. Otherwise, it just seems like you're seeking approval. Also, eliminate the filler word like, you know, myself, whenever I have to say some things or something I'm thinking about, I just stop talking. I say like a lot. Not a lot, but it's something that I'm trying to improve on by taking away from my vocabulary and reinforcing that with silence. But as I said before, I'm not perfect, so it's something that I'm working on myself. Now, also, you can learn how to cut that fluff, meaning say what really matters to you or to the topic and then shut up. Say what needs to be said and shut up. Don't say more. Don't over apologize, don't over explain. The less you do extra stuff when it comes to speaking, the better you appear, the more confident you will seem. If you're interested, I have my podcast and link in the description. Give it a try and listen to it. But that's all I got. Thank you for listening and stay motivated. You shape-shifted to survive. You blended in to stay safe. You learn how to survive and live like everyone else. So well, that now. You don't even know who you are when you're finally alone by yourself. Most introverts don't get drained by people. They feel like they become someone else around them. You're told to be more open, more fun, more social. So you laugh way more than you want to. You say yes even when you don't want to. And you may not want to admit it, but you also tone down your depth, as in your mindset, because you don't want to be labeled as too serious. Over time, that fake version of you starts taking over. And maybe you're stuck, disconnected from who you used to be, but not aligned to who you actually are. But here's the question nobody asks. What happens when being liked comes at the cost of your identity? When you wear a mask long enough, it starts kind of feeling like protection. But protection has a price. You lose your voice. You hesitate to speak your mind. You question your instincts. And you feel numb around people. But you can't really explain why. You can't build confidence from pretending. You can't grow while hiding. And most importantly, you cannot respect yourself while constantly betraying your truth. But how do you find yourself even after years of acting like someone else? Step 1, audit your mask. Ask, when do I need to perform? What spaces make you fake your energy? Step 2, reconnect with solitude. Not just silence, solitude. Read, journal, go for walks. Let your real thoughts come up without a filter. Step 3, build an alignment. Start small. Say what you actually believe. Post or reflect your values, not what trends. Speak up, even if your voice shakes. You don't need to be loud to reclaim yourself. You just need to be honest. But even honesty itself is dangerous if you don't know how to protect it. Introverts do not just want freedom. They want psychological safety, a place to exist without needing to explain. Most environments are built for noise. They reward speed, charisma, and reaction. But you move slow. You think deep. You watch before you act. And that's your advantage, if you know how to protect it. Limit exposure to fake circles. Stop trying to be understood by people not equipped to see you. Build a quiet container around your growth. Your room, your routine, your digital space. You don't owe access to everyone, especially when the access costs your clarity. And once you protected your inner world, you can finally start building something and preparing something for yourself that reflects who you truly are. Micro actions that match your truth. Track identity, not just habits. Document your growth quietly. Becoming yourself is a silent revolution. No fireworks, no cheers, just a deep knowing within yourself that you're not pretending anymore. If you ever felt like you've lost yourself while trying to survive in the world, welcome. Now you can start coming back to your real self. If this resonated with you, give the video a like and a comment and let me know in the comment section what you think about it. But thank you for listening and stay motivated. For those introverts, you've probably been told that you need to speak more, to fake it till you make it, to be confident. But that's not performance. That's just you being fake. In this video, I'm going to break down how to build real confidence from within. In this video, I'm going to break down how real confidence is built. Even for me, when I was coming up in the military, I thought confidence was those loud, obnoxious people who was always the one to speak first, to speak the loudest, and to kind of force their way through. But over time, as I grew more and I learned more, these tips that I'm going to give you help me overall in life, whether personally and professionally. Introverts don't build confidence by trying to be extroverts. You build confidence by accepting you and your systems and the way you are for who you are, and building your whole day around that system and stop fighting it, right? I remember how I was used to kind of adopt this mindset, because back in the old days in the military, we used to adopt this mindset of being a hard charger, right? Which is good nowadays. Some people need it. Some people, you need to use it, you can. But that's not necessarily the best way as an introvert to do, right? We prefer those more engagement and those one-on-one interpersonal level conversations instead of being a first person to yell at someone, right? Confidence isn't a trait. It's more of an output that you get from putting in the inputs into something. For example, you put in a daily routine for your working out and reading a book. Eventually you gain a confidence because you know you're a little bit smarter by reading a book. You know you're a little bit stronger by going to the gym, right? And confidence starts when you start stacking those small wins up over time. Whether you can do something simple like making a bed or maybe going for a walk outside around your block or something, those small wins is what help build confidence over time. Now, for me, my wins personally started when I first joined the military and I finished boot camp or recruit training for the Marine Corps. And then after that, you learn to kind of take every day by day. So you build daily disciplines based on your everyday routine, as everyone do. Make your bed, ensure your room or your house is clean, and ensure that you have a clean area overall. That will mix, and that will build confidence overall. Real confidence isn't built through comfort. It's built through controlled discomfort. Meaning for me, as an introvert, me speaking to the camera like this or posting stuff online that I know that will be looked at by my friends and family, and they would judge me based on their perception of me now. But you care, but you don't care, because in the end, who's going to be there for you when you die? Your close friends, your family, maybe. But in the end, it's just going to be you on your deathbed, right? Meaning that the people who make fun of you now, the people who tease you now, or whatever, they're going to die eventually. And then what? Are you really going to let Sally Mae ruin your life or make you not post that content or start your product or start that business because of her judgment or feelings towards you? No. So start now. Most introverts reflect, but they don't really reinforce what they reflect on. For example, let's say that you got an award or a trophy for something that you did. You was happy in that moment, but in that moment quickly faded away, and then you moved on to what's next. Next time something like that happens, take a moment, take that feeling, and hold it in your hands and own it, because that's something that you earned. I know for myself, whenever I graduated drill instructor school, looking back at it introspectively, I thought about this a couple months ago, that I've always wanted to be a drill instructor since I was a sophomore in high school, and I was back in 2016, right? I'm 26 now. And the grind to become a drill instructor was tough. But once I walked across that stage and I put that campaign cover, which is like the hat they wear on our head, that feeling quickly faded, and I was on to like, what's next? What battalion or what company am I going to, right? Looking back introspectively, I could have taken that moment and owned it, but I didn't. It doesn't really affect me as much, but those little wins right there is what helps you build those small, tiny bits of confidence over time. To be honest, you already know this, but confidence doesn't come from pretending. It comes from alignment. And the more you put inputs in to build your confidence up over time, the more confidence that you would have, the more micro discomforts you expose yourself to, the more confidence you will have overall. The feeling may not get easier. You may still feel uneasy overall, but your ability to step forward in the things that make you uneasy, the things that cause you discomfort, will become easier, because you have this whole, like, not graveyard, but you have this whole road of things you overcame to use to your benefit, right? I also built a system called the Execution Framework for free. Just click the link in my description and give it a try. It's used to give you clarity if you don't have any, and kind of give you like a more of a direction you can take in your life. But that's all I got. Thank you for listening, and stay motivated.